time for overtime.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
In the world of sports, it's all about the playmakers in today's headlines, from locals to the pros, with interviews from local standouts and sports all-stars across the country that will have you talking.
And a drive to right. Good! The season has begun.
Hear from coaches to players, sports analysts, and broadcasters who are a part of the action every day. Overtime, now with Bert Ramin on ESPN 102.3 AM 1000 KSOO, Sioux Falls sports leader.
We're off and running with hour number 2, technically hour number 1.5 here on a Thursday. It's an early and shortened edition of the show. We broke down the Minnesota Vikings schedule with Dustin Baker just about every single way you could. Best games, worst games, good stretches, bad stretches, games they'll lose, games they'll win, ones to miss, and everything in between. We'll talk about the Green Bay Packers schedule coming up tomorrow on the show. I gotta digest it. I gotta chew on it a little bit before I start spitting out facts and follies here on the show with you. But the Green Bay Packers, certainly a very interesting schedule with a lot of intrigue this year. We'll break that down tomorrow on the show. Still to come today, we're going to be talking about the odds for tonight in the NBA, the good, the bad, the ugly. And before that time, we're going to get you everything you need to know. Augustana Vikings softball, Augie baseball, and all the headlines and highlights from last night and in the future of the sports world. First things first, let's dive into that scorecard. The Colorado Avalanche and their fans were very worried heading into what was Game 5 last night in Dallas. They had lost 3 straight in the series. The first game, they frankly got lucky to come back down 3-0 in to win it. They had lost 3 in a row. Colorado backs against the wall, and Nathan McKinnon as well as Cale Makar do the rest as the Avalanche prolong their season.
Now Arturi Lehkonen. He gets through as Lundell. Lehkonen escapes. Couldn't get a shot away. Now leaves it for McKinnon. McKinnon holds. He scores! The Mac attack is back, Jack!
Colorado Avalanche, you're back, Jack, as well. 5-3 win. Audio there, KKSC. Cale Makar says, hey, it was a do-or-die game, and I liked our team's chances.
Obviously, do-or-die game, so from here on out in this series. So for us, I think each of us, we all feed off each other, kind of. At the end of the day, we got to be the best we can be, and a couple of lapses in games, and I felt like we were back to kind of forcing their hand tonight and playing well.
Colorado 5, Dallas 3. That series shifts back to Denver for a Game 6 coming up in a couple of nights. Tonight in the NHL, it's Game 6. Rangers at Hurricanes from Raleigh. Rangers hold a 3-2 series advantage. 6 o'clock puck drop on TNT. Oilers at Canucks. This series tied at 2 games apiece. 9 o'clock puck drop also on TNT. NBA Finals from last night. The Boston Celtics close it out against the Cavs.
Jalen turns the corner, attacks, kick out. Holiday touches to Horford. Half fitting with this big. A straightaway 3 for Al Horford, his 6th of the night.
Horford with the late bucket there. Jason Tatum, the star of the show last night in a romp for Boston, 113-98. Tatum nearly a triple-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. And Boston is your first team in the Final Four, first team to advance to their respective conference final, Eastern Conference final berth once again for head coach Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics. Michelle Smallman says Boston deserves way more credit than they're getting.
I just think it's kind of funny that despite being so dominant this season and getting the job done now 2 rounds in a row, that you guys are not giving them a chance really at all to win this whole thing. You're saying they'll make it to the NBA Finals, but they're not going to beat whoever comes out of the West. And I think you should be giving them more respect, and that you should be looking at this team the way that they've been playing and think that they actually have a real true shot to win it all.
Boston Celtics this year allowed roughly 109 points per game. That's up near the top, but certainly not the top mark in the NBA. It's kind of hard to quantify exactly why Boston still feels a little bit under the radar, because if you go to any gambling site, any site that knows what they're talking about with basketball, Boston Celtics are your favorite to win it all this year, and I think that speaks to not only their success and who they are, but also the amount of parity out in the Western Conference, because you give me OKC, you give me Denver, you give me Minnesota in the finals against Boston, it's hard to sell me that Boston's going to run away with that one. It won't go 7, and frankly, I think Denver would beat up Boston in that series in the finals if that were to happen. But again, remains to be seen. I think the biggest reason for the lack of love for Boston is the lack of true blue star power. They got the really good players. They got the Jaylen Browns. They got the Jason Tatums. They got the role players as well. But I don't think either of those guys move the needle nearly as much as your Jokic's, your Murray's, your Anthony Edwards, your Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the other players in that Western Conference. But Boston on to the Eastern Conference with a win last night, 113-98. Dallas and OKC. OKC with a huge opportunity on their home floor, and they let it slip away. Mavericks dominate last night on the road.
Three-pointer, no, and it's tipped out top of the key. Irving to Doncic for 3. Luka Doncic, 31 points. Timeout Oklahoma City as Dallas now has its largest lead of the night at 18 points.
Dallas won by a total of 12 points last night, 104-92. Doncic did go for a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. Dallas now leads the series 3-2. That series heads back down south to Dallas for game number 6 coming up in due time. Tonight in the NBA, Nuggets at Timberwolves, game 6, 7:30 on ESPN. Denver leads at 3-2. I said it earlier in the week, I still feel this way, not to throw shade at Minnesota. I would love to see the Timberwolves prolong what was a really great series, but the last 3 games have just been a different tone. I think Denver gets the job done tonight. I really do. I hate to say that to you because it's been such a fun season for the Timberwolves. I will be pleasantly surprised tomorrow and talking with you on the air, and I'll tell you how wrong I was if Minnesota can punch their way to a Game 7 appearance in what has been a very intriguing and frankly weird series, with Minnesota taking Game 1 and 2 on the road in Denver, Denver answering back with 3 and 4 on the road in Minnesota, and Denver winning the first home game of the series last week or earlier this week in game number 5. It'll go to 6, I think. I think Denver does slam the door tonight. Hate to do that, but that's my prediction for tonight's game. Close one. Denver wins it and moves on to the Western Conference Final. There's a lot of movers and shakers this offseason in the NBA. What are the Lakers going to do? What's LeBron going to do? And now, with their season over, what are the Cavs going to do? What's Donovan Mitchell going to do? Here's what Zach Lowe had to say.
I think people will be shocked to hear the name of Lakers on the ESPN airwaves today, but Lakers are one, and they can trade 3 picks in the offseason. People will scoff at the Lakers offer because they don't have like a blue chip prospect, but you throw Austin Reeves and 3 unprotected Lakers picks with how old LeBron is and how injury riddled AD has been before the season, that's valuable. Miami, to me, is the other team to watch. They're always hunting around. They've been connected with Mitchell over the years. They're lurking, and they have a lot of stuff to offer in terms of picks and young players.
That's Zach Lowe appearing on ESPN Radio. I got to ask Lakers fans, LeBron fans, or otherwise out there, we had the clip from Windhorst earlier this week about, hey, the Big 3 era is dead. It is gone. It is over in the NBA. It's kind of shifted to a 1-star and ancillary role players or 2 stars on a team, but the era of the Big 3 appears to be trending towards a demise. Do you want the Lakers to re-up and give it one last shot with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Donovan Mitchell? If it can happen, if you mortgage the future, would you like that to be the immediate future of the Lakers, or would you like them to go ahead and try to absorb and acclimate to this modern era of 2 guys and all sorts of role players, young and old, veterans and youngsters? I don't know what the correct answer is, but Donovan Mitchell, I think, very likely to be on the move. And Windhorst said a couple weeks ago he thinks LeBron James also likely to at least test the waters of a potential move away from the LA Lakers. Major League Baseball finals from yesterday. Chicago Cubs finally got a win in Atlanta. They avoid the sweep with a 7-1 effort in Game 3, 25-19, the new record for the Cubs. Miami and Detroit tussled from Detroit, and the Marlins get the road win 2-0. Milwaukee hangs 10 with a win over Pittsburgh 10-2. Brewers are now 26-17. White Sox get a much-needed win, nearly getting to win number 15 of the season. They're 14-30. Rockies pour it on the Padres, 8-0 winner for Colorado on the road. Other finals, Yankees over Minnesota once again, 4-0 the final yesterday. And it's 2-0 in the series. They're going for the sweep today. Are the Yankees at Target Field? That's upcoming in just about an hour. 12:10 the first pitch time. 11:30 pregame coverage for the Twins right here on ESPN Sioux Falls. One other final of note, Cleveland did lose yesterday, so despite the couple games dropped in a row for Minnesota, Cleveland did lose as well. They're at the top of the division, 27-17, 2.5 games separating those two teams. Other game tonight outside of the Twins today to take note of for area teams. Cubs open a series at home to the Pirates, 6:40 the start time from Wrigley Field. WNBA Finals, Chicago lost in Dallas last night, 87-79, and Atlanta wins on the road over L.A. That final 92-81. Caitlin Clark, home debut, be there tonight, 6 o'clock on Prime Video. Fever playing host to the Liberty. NASCAR weekend ahead. All-Star weekend from North Wilkesboro Speedway begins on Sunday. Coverage at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1. And PGA Tour golf ahead. PGA Championship today through Sunday from Valhalla in Louisville, Kentucky. Chris Canty with probably an unpopular opinion saying that there's another golfer right now that moves the needle more for the sport when he's relevant than Tiger Woods.
With Scottie Scheffler, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of being able to witness greatness, seeing somebody being able to dominate the sport. It always does better when there is a standard and everybody is trying to aspire to knock that one golfer off that perch as the best in the world. And that's what made golf so great for the decade and a half that Tiger Woods dominated it. And so I'm hoping that with the evolution of Scottie Scheffler's game, especially what he's doing on the greens with the putter, like all of those things can lay the groundwork for him to be the preeminent golfer in the sport and have everybody else chasing after him. So that's why I'm saying another major for Scottie Scheffler is actually better for the health of the sport than Tiger Woods actually competing and winning another title.
Hard to disagree with that, but again, you're tugging on some heartstrings. Everyone wants to see Tiger Woods compete. Everyone wants to see him make the cut, be out there when it matters the most, wear the red on the Sundays and win it all. But I agree, Scottie Scheffler, the number one hottest golfer in the world right now, certainly moves the needle a ton, and Scheffler in the mix there at the PGA Championship. By the way, if you need to buy some shares right now, the guy to buy shares in, Xander Schauffele, 8 under par through 15 holes to start it out. That is 3 strokes clear of the rest of the field. Tony Finau in second at 5 under. Tiger Woods even now as they're showing highlights from 11. Not sure exactly where his round is, but he is even through at least 11 holes right now at the PGA Championship from Valhalla. Congratulations as we open up your Reliabank headlines of the day. Congrats are in order to Augustana Vikings softball. Their tremendous season continues. They cruise to victory in the Super Regionals with a 6-0 shutout win over Rogers State yesterday. The Vikings secured their spot in the NCAA D2 championships down in Orlando, Florida. They will run May the 19th through the 25th. Tori Shute and Andrea Kane combined for 2 home runs each and 4 total runs. And Grace Glanzer back to work again. A complete game shutout, struck out 4 batters to help Augie clinch its ticket to the D2 National Championships. The Vikings hit the 50-win mark with yesterday's win. Augie recorded 6 hits and 22 at-bats and left 4 runners on base. And the Vikings held Rogers State to 3 hits and 25 at-bats, and they left 5 stranded. Both teams exchanged hits throughout the final 3 innings, and Augie stood tall defensively and secured their spot down in Orlando, Florida. Can't wait to continue to follow that Augustana Viking softball program. On the other side, Augie baseball for the 4th year in a row. The number 9th rated Augie baseball team opens up NCAA tournament play in Warrensburg, Missouri at the NCAA Central Regional Tournament. Central Missouri is the number 1 seed in the tournament and is set to host at Crane Stadium at Tompkins Field. The trip to the regionals is the 6th consecutive for Augustana baseball. The Vikings receive the 4 seed and they'll take on 5th seeded Central Oklahoma today at 6 p.m. The Mules are set to play Minnesota State, the 8th seed, today at 2 p.m. And in the other pod, number 2 seed Missouri Southern State faces off with Arkansas Tech. And you got Arkansas Monticello and Harding as the other two teams there. Follow along, goaugie.com/live. You can find the bracket and everything you need to know to follow along with head coach Tim Huber and all the stars of Augustana baseball. goaugie.com/live. Big news earlier in the week about U.S. Olympic curling team trials coming here to the Denny Sanford Premier Center. And we got another marquee event that was announced yesterday in conjunction with Sanford Sports that we need to tell you about today. The ATP Professional Men's Tennis Tour is coming to South Dakota for the first time in October, from October 20th to the 27th, when the Huther Family Match Point on the Sanford Sports Complex will host the Market Beat Open presented by USTA Northern. We're incredibly excited to bring this first-of-its-kind tennis tournament to Sioux Falls, said Market Beat founder and CEO Matt Paulson. We think this event will elevate the visibility of Sioux Falls on the national stage and bring additional tourism revenue to the city. USTA Northern, which played a role in bringing the tour to Sioux Falls, is also excited to help fill the void of professional tennis in the upper Midwest. The Sanford Sports Complex has become very familiar with hosting marquee sporting events, including top 25 D1 men's and women's basketball matchups, and adding a professional tennis tournament provides even more tournament options on the campus. Thanks so much, of course, to Sanford and everyone involved. Market Beat in the Sioux Falls to bring in ATP tennis. That'll be coming up in October. More on that, sanfordhealth.org, or there's an article up right now at ESPNSiouxFalls.com. We saw the USD Coyotes unveil their volleyball schedule earlier in the week, and unsurprisingly, South Dakota State has now followed suit. SDSU volleyball team has announced their schedule for the upcoming season. Jackrabbit slate features 4 non-conference tournaments before getting into conference action. SDSU opens the season with an exhibition match against the University of Sioux Falls. That's going to be August the 23rd, and that contest will take place at Brookings High School as First Bank and Trust Arena renovations are completed. The Jackrabbits officially begin their campaign at the Georgia State Invitational down in Atlanta in late August. SDSU takes on Florida A&M and Georgia State on Friday, and Indiana State on Saturday, August 31st. A lot to look forward to for that complete schedule for Jackrabbit Volleyball. GoJacks.com. The 12th head coach in Coyote women's basketball history, Carrie Amy, will be introduced at a series of meet and greet events across the state of South Dakota next week. Amy will make appearances in Yankton, Sioux Falls, Huron, and Rapid City from May 22nd to the 23rd. All meet and greets are open to the general public. Details on each are included in the article. Yotes.com. Sioux Falls meet and greet will be May the 22nd at Pizza Ranch on 41st Street, held at the site of the monthly Lunch with the U in Sioux Falls. Come have an early dinner with Yote fans and hear from Coach Amy. Amy will address attendees at approximately 4:15 p.m. That event again, May the 22nd here in Sioux Falls, Pizza Ranch, 41st Street. More info, goyotes.com. Lastly here, the South Dakota State University baseball team is hanging by a thread. They still have some work to do to claim a spot in next week's Summit League basketball or baseball championship as the Jackrabbits welcome Omaha to town for the final series of the regular season. Thursday series opener set for a 3 o'clock start time at Irv Huther Field. In order to get in for the Summit League tournament, it's a 4-team field. The Jackrabbits will need to record one more win than Northern Colorado does this weekend in their series at North Dakota State. All the scenarios available, GoJacks.com. Those are your Reliabank headlines of the day for hour number 2. When we come back, it's going to be a very quick look at the odds tonight. Are the Timberwolves still favored in game number 6 of the series? If so, by how much? We'll dive into the other odds as well moving forward, and also quick edition of the good, the bad, and the ugly coming up next.
Stream us online, stream us on the app. Streaming now. Overtime with Bert Ramin on ESPN 102.3 and AM 1000 KSOO. Sioux Falls sports leader.
Final couple minutes of the show today. We're off the air in just about 2 minutes to make way for Minnesota Twins pregame coverage. Yankees game 3. Minnesota looking to avoid the sweep today on ESPN Sioux Falls. 12:10, the official game start time. Latest odds from the NBA. Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 6 tonight from the Twin Cities. Minnesota is a narrowly thin favorite. It was up to 4, went down all the way to 3, and now it's at just 2 points according to DraftKings Sportsbook. Minnesota a 2-point home favorite. Money line plus 110 for the Denver Nuggets if you like them outright. Tomorrow, Knicks and Pacers. Vegas thinks we're in line for a game 7. Indiana 5.5-point home favorite, and OKC Dallas. Dallas favored to end things in 6 games in that series. Mavericks are a 4-point home favorite for Saturday, rather, not tomorrow, Saturday for that game 6 between the Thunder and the Mavericks. Now broad strokes of the NBA. Boston still your favorite, minus 130. Denver right there, plus 255 rather. Dallas third, Minnesota fourth, followed by OKC, the Knicks, and the Pacers. Longest odds at plus 9,000. Quickly here, good, bad, the ugly, and we're going to do this in about 30 seconds. Caitlin Clark's fever debut, the most watched WNBA game since 2001. 2.1 million viewers across all platforms. You can watch her home opener tonight on Prime Video, 6 o'clock the start time there. Former Colorado cornerback Cormani McClain, who headlined Coach Deion Sanders' first recruiting class with the Buffs, has officially found a new home. He's transferring to Florida. And on to the bad, Max Scherzer transferred to the 60-day IL as of yesterday when the Texas Rangers made a move they initially avoided to start the season. 60 days for Max Scherzer, 60-day IL for one of the all-time greats, modern-day greats on the mound. That's the show. Twins pregame coming up on the other side. Have a great day. We'll do it tomorrow, overtime at 11, right here on ESPN Sioux Falls.